Hi guys, it's Doreen and welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna just make this video as unedited, as raw. Of course, I'm gonna try to cut out pieces that filler and stuff like that. That's just not necessary. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be, but I'm just gonna jump right into it. And I'm going to tell you guys about my high school experience. So my freshman year of high school was okay. I went to a high school that it was a charter school, so it was from kindergarten to 12th grade, and they had, I think, like 3 campuses. If you guys didn't know, I have a sister and she is 3 years older than I am. So she went to the same high school that I did starting out. Going into my freshman year, I went to the high school campus and everyone kind of knew me already, especially because of middle school and everything. But the high school students, there was about 200 people in the entire high school, so it was really, really small. And everyone kind of knew me as Nielle's little sister. Most of my friends from middle school ended up going to different high schools. They want to have like the real high school experience because my school was extremely small. We really didn't have any extracurricular activities. We didn't even have like a field. It was just one very small building with a whole bunch of classrooms in it, and that was it. I was somebody who was very keeping to myself. I was very introverted. I was really good in my classes and I just kind of focused on my schoolwork. I really didn't hang out with any of my friends. I did talk to a few people, but most of the time at lunch I sat by myself. I mean, I had classroom like buddies and stuff like that, and each class I had like a set buddy that I would stick with. Then my parents announced that we were moving halfway into the year. So it was right at the end of that semester. And by my sophomore year, my sister was already in her senior year. So she really wanted to have a real high school experience, and she went to a public high school and she wanted to finish off her year somewhere else. So for me, I needed to start a new year. There was no way for me to keep going to my old high school. So where we moved, the new high school was very, very close. It was within walking distance. And it was in a really nice area. There was an area that people had a lot of money. I just felt like I was having a really hard time when I first came there because I really didn't know anybody. Coming into the school, I just felt completely overwhelmed because I went from a high school that had 200 people to another high school that had 2,000 people. Smack in the middle of the year, everyone already like knew their place, everyone already had their friends and their groups and everything. For the first week or so, I just really didn't talk to anybody. I remember that I came into my English class and they were reading books that I had already read when I was in 5th grade. And I told the teacher that and she's like, oh my goodness, like we need to put you in the honors classes and all AP everything. Like you're so smart, you already know all this material. I got put in the honors class, and the honors class teacher, she saw me sitting down the class. She's like, who are you? And I said, hi, I'm Doreen. And then I explained to her like the whole situation. She's like, just because you read higher level books doesn't mean that you belong in my class. She really gave me a hard time that first week, and she wouldn't let me catch up with everyone. She was just kind of expecting me to do it all on my own. And she just like put me into groups with people that were already working on their projects since like the beginning of the year. Then I asked to get switched out of that class and just be put in the regular class. So already my class was switched 3 times at this point, and the book that I said that we had read, this was already something that they had finished by this time. I ended up failing, I think probably like 3 or 4 classes that year. It was just because of the placement and everything, and it was just all very overwhelming for me. My goodness, okay. During this time, I was going through like a little phase, let's call it. And I was kind of going through like a weeaboo phase. I know it's super cringy. Like when I look back on it, I'm like, oh my God, just like, I try to delete all the photos, try to delete everything, make everything private. But you can't really erase a whole 3 years of your life, because I started liking anime and stuff like that and like Japanese culture back in 8th grade when my teachers introduced me to it. I was just weird all around and, you know, very shy, very reserved. I had a very weird sense of style and everything, like fashion sense. And in my old high school, we had uniforms. And then in this new high school, it was all completely like you could wear whatever you want. There was no like dress code or anything. I remember that I had a dance class and I met this one girl, and she said that she really liked anime and she was really into riding horses, and she had a horse. And I remember that I asked my mom, like, how do I make friends? And she said, well, if there's anyone that you want to talk to, just ask to sit with them at lunch or something. I was like, okay. So I went up to that girl that I would always talk to during the dance class, and I asked her one day, like, can I come sit with you at lunch? And she's like, sure, I'll introduce you to all my friends. Like, I have a huge group and everything. And we all like anime too, so you'll fit right in. And so like, all right. And I think she had a group of maybe like 6 or 7 people, and I was friends with them for a while. There was this one guy that he had a twin, and I thought he was like super cute at the time, and I'd never had a boyfriend, never been kissed before. I was 15 and everything, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is so cute. It just, all the people, they were just like really interested in me, like this new person is coming into the group, and they would all want to talk to me. They'd all invite me over to their house. They'd all want to come over to my house, go out and everything, and like go and hang out at the mall or something. So they would always invite me, and less they started talking about her. She just got very, very jealous at this point, and she just didn't like me anymore, and she kind of wanted me out of the group. I started dating that guy that I really had a crush on from that group, and she just got so jealous that she decided that she was gonna date his twin, and we would hang out all the time because since I was dating him, she was dating his twin. We would all do stuff together. It was like constant double dates. She would always brag like all the time about her horse, and how she's like doing competitions and she's like always winning, like how her piano skills were so good and how her drawings were so good, and like all this stuff, like it was always about her. At that point, I think that I felt always in competition with her, and I just hated that feeling and idea. And I did some pretty messed up things, to be honest, because I couldn't understand why this girl was bragging so much and everything's like such a big deal all the time. So I decided like, I'm gonna show her up then. Like if she thinks that she's so good at piano and she's so good at playing this one song that it's like so amazing, I'm gonna go and learn it too. Or if she draws something, I will draw the same character or the same thing better. You know, it's just like, it's so stupid. On my part, I'm saying that's like absolutely stupid and ridiculous, but that's what I thought at the time was gonna make me better than her. And not only that, it would really annoy her, because if she was gonna annoy me, I was gonna annoy her even more. I kept dating that guy for probably like a year and a half. So that was my very first relationship. She kept dating too up until that point. And I do remember this one incident where this girl that was one of our friends, she was having a birthday party, and I told her like, hey, I know that you're having your birthday party and you invited me, and I know that you know that me and that other girl aren't talking and we're not exactly friends. So I was just wondering if you're gonna invite her, and if you are, just please let me know because I don't want to have any drama. And she said, no, I'm not inviting her. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable at my party, so you don't have to worry, she's not invited. So I said, okay, and I went over to her house. I look across the distance and I see that girl, and she's like, hey guys, I'm here, sorry I'm late. And she's like, hey, I'm so glad you made it, like everything's cool. And I pulled that girl aside, my friend who was her birthday. I politely said to her, thank you for inviting me, I had a nice time, but I'm gonna go home now. And I called my mom and she picked me up and I went home. So the next day, I was sitting at lunch. The girl, she comes up to me and she comes up into my face. She's like, why did you tell so-and-so that I'm not allowed to come to her party? And I said, I never said anything like that. She said, well, you're telling all these people rumors about me that I hate you and I'm such a bad person, like all this stuff. And by the way, this is already in the junior year of high school. So I just ignored her, and she just kept getting more and more mad, like in my face. And then so I just grabbed my stuff and I just started walking to my next class, and she like grabs my arm, she starts pulling me, and she's like, I'm not done with you, like come say it to my face. And I was literally like, let go of me, and twisted my arm away from hers. And I kept walking and she pulled my hair. She was like trying to fight me pretty much. And I was like, oh my goodness, this girl over here. So I just again pulled away from her and I started sprinting away from her, and I saw in the corner of my eye, I see her and she like slips on some mud and she falls. And so I was able to get away from her. I don't like anyone in my face, and I just got like so upset, and I called my mom. She's like, that girl can't touch you, like that's not okay. I told my mom like, I don't want to take it like to the principal, it's stupid. She's like, no, I want to deal with this, it's not okay, this has been happening for too long, this girl's just causing you problems. Then I got called into the principal's office and they were like asking me to explain the story, so I did. And then the other girl got called in. They're trying to figure out like what was going on. And the girl, she just starts like bawling, crying, saying, she's like, I just want to be her friend. Like I don't understand why she hates me so much. She's always so rude to me. She's always spreading rumors about me. And I didn't do anything wrong. I just want to be her friend and like all this stuff. And I was just looking at her like, really girl? Really? Like you're putting on this act right now? And the principal just said like, this just seems like it's just a very personal problem. I think that you two should just shake hands and it will all be over. Like, don't worry, everything will be fine. And so I just like look at her and I'm like, I'm not shaking this girl's hand. Like, that's not gonna happen. I just get up my stuff and I leave. The principal, she's like calling me. She's like, Doreen, you don't leave the situation and all this stuff. You don't just walk away from it. I'm like, well, I am. No, I'm kidding, I didn't say that. I just walked away. I was just like done. Anyways, it was just like really stupid that junior year, and that sophomore and junior year was just really stupid things like that. Back to academics. My junior year, I just really focused on my academics, and I had gone through a breakup at that point with that guy, and I was super heartbroken, you know, little 16 or 17-year-old me at this point. I was just super heartbroken, and just my first breakup, first boyfriend, everything like is gone. I was like so upset. And then that girl and the other twin, they broke up like right after. And I was like, wow, okay then. I just, at that point, I told all the friends that I just don't want to have any contact with them. All like attacking me, saying like, why didn't you just talk to her when she came up to you that time? Like, that's not okay. They just walked away. I do think that looking back on it, I did the right thing by walking away. And I just saw it escalate to a point where it could have been a lot worse. But all my friends didn't agree with me at that time. So I was like, you know what? Screw all these people. I'm just gonna be better off not having any friends. So they would all kind of like sit together. They kind of like made her like on a little pedestal. They were like all apologizing to her for being friends with me and like making her feel better about herself and everything. And so I was just like super jealous of that, and I would sit by myself at lunch. I wouldn't talk to anybody. Again, I had like my classroom friends, but that was it. And then I started doing horseback riding because, you know, me being me at the time. Well, okay, let me just explain the situation very quickly. So at the beginning, I said that this girl, she used to do competition, she used to ride horses and everything. And then I saw on Instagram that she got in a fight with her riding instructor, and her riding instructor had like a whole set Instagram for the horses and her like her own page and everything. And I just like liked one of the photos, and then she messaged me and she's like, hey, you're the girl that so-and-so had problems with, yeah? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And it was like super awkward, but she said, how would you like to come to do lessons with me? I am so down. And she was just like really mad at the mom of that girl, and there was just some drama that went on between them. And then so I felt like she and we just kind of established this instructor-student friendship that we just both didn't like mutual people. And it was a really bad way to start off. Riding the horses, it really helped me feel better about myself. And it wasn't even about her at that point. It was more about me and going through my breakup and everything. And I didn't have a lot of money at the time, so I couldn't really afford to do the lessons. So we would basically ride for 7 hours on Saturday, and then Sunday would be the day that I would basically help out for another 7 hours at the barn, like take care of the horses, clean out the stalls, like do everything, and just be like her little worker for the day. Like I would have to earn my lessons. So that was kind of our deal. We only paid for a day of lessons, and then the next day I would get the rest of the lessons and also help out. She wanted us to be in competition together with the horses, and at that point I just really didn't like that. I just kind of had some personal problems with her as well. I don't want to get into anything too personal. Like at this point I don't have any hard feelings towards her or anything. I realized that it wasn't a good thing. I realized that this was not right for me, and the lessons were getting too expensive, even the cheaper lessons and everything. But it just wasn't right for me, so I quit. All throughout high school, it was just like a constant like that, back and forth of all this drama and everything. But I do recognize that most of it, even though I didn't directly try to accumulate it, it was definitely my doing as well. It's not just these things happen, why are these things happening to me? It's definitely, I did some things that made it occur. Moving on to senior year, I had finally made a new friend group, and these people, some of them liked anime, some of them didn't, and there was this one guy who was super friendly and he was very helpful to me, but he was also very standoffish. He was the type of person who he would just have his headphones in, like hood on, and just do his work and like focus on his own thing. And he would never get involved with anybody. Like he had no social media, he wasn't involved with any activities of school. Like he just went to school, did his work, and that was it. Like very mysterious person. I kind of saw him as like a mentor for me at that point. Like we had, I think maybe 2 or 3 classes together, and we would kind of like buddy up whenever we had projects or anything. And I would just tell him all the time, like everything that was going on. He's like, well, why do you care? Like why do you even let these people be a part of your life? Like you're the one letting them into your life. You're basically, every time you talk about them or you think about them, then you're just letting them live rent-free in your head, basically. He would tell me like that kind of stuff all the time. I was like, you know what, you're so right. And at this point, I went to therapy because I just had a lot of personal problems from being alone all the time, being without any friends, and after the horseback riding, it just was really difficult for me. So I did start therapy in, I believe it was junior year, like the end of junior year. But I just kept going through therapy all that time. I just had like that one friend that we would never hang out outside of school. He was just someone who would kind of give me advice, and that's it. I would ask him to hang out and he was like, no, I don't want to hang out. It's just, I have my own things and that's it. So very mysterious person. Moving on. I distanced myself again from that new friend group just because I felt like, I don't know what I felt, but I just wanted to be by myself again, and it just kind of felt more comfortable by myself. I found a new friend group that were all really advanced people, like AP everything again, and it was just like a group of guys that were just kind of very into physics and mathematics and calculus and like all this stuff and sciences, and they were just very, very friendly people. They were very, like, I was the girl of the group, but I don't really know how to describe it, but we just had like a really good friendship. We go on little adventures and we would just hang out all the time. We started a club together, and then that girl ended up joining our club. I said, you know what, if she wants to be a part of this club, I can't do this. So I ended up just leaving the club altogether. And it was just like anything I was doing, she was doing it too. And it just became like so annoying. And again, I was by myself. Academic wise, during this time, it was senior year, so I had to basically do all the credits that I missed, and a lot of my credits didn't transfer for my old school because since it was an entrepreneurial school, most of the classes, they didn't count for this new school. And it was just really difficult because I had to basically redo my freshman year credits, and they couldn't find them or anything. And they said basically my senior year, I just have to redo everything or I couldn't graduate, and I had to do like a lot of online classes and independent study classes. So finally, towards the middle of the year, I was going through some old papers and I did find my transcripts from my old school. I decided to take it and go to the office and just basically tell them, here, this is my classes, this is what I took. Let's see what we can get transferred. They basically told me like, oh, you don't need to do math. You don't need to do any more science classes. You don't need to do any of this. Like, you're fine then. And then everything else I missed, I just did it in independent study. So my senior year was super easy. It was basically, I had, well, the art class, the ceramics class, which is also art, an English class, a economics class, and the next semester I had a government class. And then for the rest of the time, I just basically had free periods so I could go home. I just walked home early. And by this time, I did start making YouTube videos. I did have a previous YouTube channel, and that's kind of how I coped with things, and especially during that time with that girl. It started during my sophomore year, and I just kept doing YouTube all throughout my senior year. And it was just really, really cringy, embarrassing videos. And I privated everything now. The whole channel is basically taken down because I just felt like after finishing high school, I just felt like I wanted to start over, start anew, and that's when I started with this channel. And I'm gonna get all to that later, but finishing up the senior year, I finally established another friend group, yet again. And these people, they were pretty popular. They were not like the popular people, but a lot of people knew them. Everyone was kind of their friend, and like a lot of different people with a lot of different personality types in this group. And so I just kind of felt like I belonged finally, and there was this guy that he liked me, so I really wanted a boyfriend at the time, and I was just like so over being heartbroken over that first guy, and I was like finally over it. So I was like, I'm ready to move on, I want a boyfriend, so I started dating him, and everyone was telling me like, you do not want to date this guy, he is bad news, he's not good, like you don't want to be around this guy. Me being me, I was like, no, I'm gonna be nice. And I'm gonna learn about this guy, and like right away, like for me, I didn't think about being friends with someone before dating them. I just kind of thought, oh, if you want a boyfriend, go for it, have a boyfriend, like it's no big deal. And I started dating this guy, and he was just very full of himself, very asshole, I guess you could say. And he was in exactly the nicest guy ever, but I don't even know how to say it. This guy was just cringy in the way that he was just so full of himself and always like looking at himself in the mirror and like checking himself out. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's obsessed with himself. He asked me to prom and he came into my class. He had like a big sign and said like, Doreen, will you go to prom with me? And he had like a little kitten doll because I always love kittens, and he had like some roses for me. And I said, yes, I'm gonna go to prom with you. And we had like prom. We had all my friends all together. We were all with our dresses and we got a party bus and it was super fun. We took all photos together. It was funny because it was such a big friend group that most of the people, I really didn't know them. I maybe talked to them once or twice, but it was just such a giant group of friends that I really didn't talk to that many people. I kind of had like a few that I talked with, but that was pretty much it. So we went to prom. I actually had a really, really nice time at prom. Oh, my senior year as well, we had homecoming and I won homecoming princess because my friends that were in that big friend group, they all said, oh, let's do something nice for Doreen and let's just put her on the ballot and just vote for her. And I got homecoming princess. That was really nice of them. But then later on, I broke up with that guy because he was saying that he wanted to cheat on me with this other girl that I knew of her, and she just kind of had like a really bad reputation. But he was saying like, so cringy. Oh my god, okay. We were basically sitting in the car and he says, Doreen, you know your friend? I was like, yeah. And mind you, I didn't really talk to her. I mean, I was acquainted with her, but I really wasn't someone who was always hanging out with her. It was just mainly the group all together hanging out and doing things together. So he's like, you know what? I've always wondered what it was like to have sex with her. And I was like, oh my god, are you serious right now? I was speechless. I just couldn't believe what came out of this guy's mouth. And this was right before prom, and I was like, I am not gonna break up with this guy now because I need to have a prom date and not be the only one out of my friends who doesn't have a date. So I just said, okay, and just ignored it, like pretend it just never happened. And then prom came around, had a nice time, and then right after prom, I heard like some rumors of him talking about my depression at the time and about how I went to therapy and that I was crazy and like all this stuff. So then I just called him up and I was like, hey, can you meet me at like our spot and everything? He's like, sure. And I just basically told him, listen, like you've been a really nice prom date for me. This thing that we had, it was nice, like not really, but I was just saying like it was nice, but I really want to break up. And he's like, okay, I understand. Thanks for telling me. I was like, okay. And that was the end of that. But then he basically started going around and telling everybody like, oh, finally, like I'm away from this girl, and like telling everyone how crazy I was. And all my friends, like this was really messed up of them, but basically they were just all going on his side while at the same time staying friends with me. So they would say things behind my back, and then it just became really apparent to me that these people were not my friends. And they would just talk like a whole bunch of stuff about me, and all throughout the school I came known as like the suicidal depression girl who was going through therapy, and she was crazy. Like that was my identifier, was the crazy girl pretty much. So that really, really hurt my self-esteem. That really harmed me. At that point, I just felt like at such a low point in my life. And I remember that I was telling that mysterious guy everything that was going on, and he was saying like, that's really fucked up. Like, I'm so sorry that you have to go through that. But you know what? I'm still your friend, and you shouldn't worry about what these people say. They're just stupid. Like, life after high school is gonna be so much better. And he's like acting like an adult, like he knows, but he was right. So thank you, mysterious guy, for that. He would text me, and just when I'd feel like really sad and really low, he would just tell me things that would kind of make me feel better about myself, and just kind of tell me things that kind of give me a different perspective on life. We had like our senior activities. I just decided that I was going to try to be the best version of myself. I didn't wear makeup all throughout high school. I thought it was stupid. I never did my hair. I just looked like myself and everything. But I just didn't like to put any effort into my looks or anything. So I said that this is a time for me to feel good about myself. Like, who cares about those people? Who cares about what they think? If they want to call me crazy, that's on them. That's their opinion. But as long as I don't let them into my head, then that's not going to bother me. So I decided that I was going to go and I was gonna get the nicest dress, the nicest bodycon dress, put on makeup, do my hair, and drive my sister's Mini Cooper for this senior event that we had. And I drove up and I just felt like so gorgeous, and all these people were looking at me, and my boyfriend at the time was like saying all this crap about me and everything, but I was like, whatever, I feel good. Like, I just feel like a little queen over here. And all my friends were just, or all my friends, all those people were just kind of like, okay, whatever, what is she trying to do? I just kind of did my own thing. Like, I enjoyed the senior events. I vlogged everything at that time for my YouTube channel. And that was always something that I kept coming back to, was doing YouTube. And that made me feel like I mean, I really didn't have an audience at the time, but I just felt that's something that I can escape to, was YouTube. Everyone was going to their senior events and to the grad night and everything, and I just didn't want to go. I went to the brunch and the picnic, and that was it. It was really hard for me. So I said that even though I don't get to graduate with all my friends, I didn't really take pictures with a lot of people. It was just kind of with my parents, and that's it. After that, I just decided that I was going to become what I want to be. No more of this, things happen to me, poor me, like very pitting myself and everything. So after that ended, I moved onto college. I decided that I just want to turn my life around and be what I want to be. High school's over, like all this stuff is over. And I decided that I was going to put more effort into the way that I look, put more effort into my education, basically put more effort into the way that I feel about myself. At that point, I was still going to therapy, but I didn't feel the need to go to it anymore. Like, I did go for a little bit of college, but then I said, like, I don't need therapy anymore. If I want to improve myself, that's on me. So I made a new YouTube channel, I made a new Instagram, I started over, I created a theme and did exactly what I wanted to do. I started dating. I just felt so much better about myself. And even now, going back, I would want people to know that high school is not forever. And the people that bothered me in high school, I personally don't have any more problems with them. I mean, they really gave me a really hard time, and that kind of sucks, but that's life. And I really don't have any hard feelings towards them, towards that girl. I don't have any problems with people from high school, and to that ex-boyfriend, like, screw him, I don't care about him. It doesn't matter to me. But that's basically my high school experience. It was just a really rough time for me. Some highs, some lows. College is college, and I can make a whole separate video about college. But if you guys wanted to know more about like high school in terms of advice and stuff like that, I can make a whole separate video about that. I think this video is way too long. It took me forever to film, but that's pretty much it. There's probably a ton of stuff I left out just because either it's not important or I just forgot about it because it was so long ago. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're scared about going to high school, don't be. You probably won't have a similar experience that I had. I don't regret anything because it's really helped shape me into the person I am now. And I'm very proud of who I am now. And I think that I have a lot of really good things for me. Like, I'm very grateful for the life I have now. If you guys can relate to this video and you want to see story time videos, vlogs, if you're interested in travel videos and tutorials and reviews, go ahead and subscribe to my channel down below if you aren't already. I try to make new videos every single week, and I'll see you guys in my next video next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!